Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. Boog Nights coming at you with the Medicom Mafex Into the Spider-Verse animated movie Spider-Gwen figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
There's a quick look at the artwork on the left side of the box. And there's the right. You can see a picture of Spider-Ham down there. Yes, he is packed in here. There you can see him through the front of the packaging. And there's a good look at the front of the packaging. Alright, let's bust this bad girl open and see what's what. Alright, here we go. The Into the Spider-Verse Gwen Stacy from Earth 65, aka Spider-Gwen. Our very first Spider-Gwen in the life of the Mafex line. And Mafex has been making pretty good progress in terms of giving us the core members from the team we saw in the movie. Spider-Gwen and Spider-Ham are our third and fourth members of the crew. Everyone is patiently waiting to see when they may announce Spider-Noir and or Penny Parker and Spider-Bot. Mafex is almost neck and neck with Sentinel, and I guess with Legends too. But I wanted to take this opportunity to give you a casual look at this figure and also pose the question, what's wrong with Mafex? So out of the package, she looks pretty good. Aesthetically, she looks good. She looks very accurate to how she was depicted in the animated movie. I do have a couple of issues. Sort of a challenge here to get her to stand upright. The feet are very small, but she is a petite character, so I understand. Out of the package, she comes with two hands that are open with the finger slightly spread. You know, Mafex is good with giving you a bevy of accessories. That's really the draw with a lot of these import figures. So she does have two fists, two hands for holding a couple of her web lines, which can also double as a thumbs up gesture. And there's kind of a look at that. I'm not really happy with these because the actual line that slips through the small little slot in her hands is actually not thick enough. So they kind of move around and that's not good. You almost have to like bend them here at this part in order to keep them steady, but you know, these lines are very thin and they are prone to breakage, so this is an issue. She's got another set of hands that are open and slightly cupped, sort of like grabby hands here. Fingers are just a little closer together than that first set. Of course, you can't have a Spider-Man, Spider-Woman character without a set of whipping hands, so she does have these. And she's also packed in with the standard web lines that they give you with every Spider-Man, Spider-Woman character. This version has a little circular enclosure towards the end. You can pop the hand off and slide the circular portion around the wrist and then reattach the hand so it looks like she is shooting a web line out. And it should be noted that these web lines come in two different lengths. So it's the first one that I showed and then a shorter one here that's on her left arm, left wrist. Sorry, I should have had to stand out long before now. But she's also packed in with a couple of hands that are open with the fingers really spread here. And there's another set of open hands with the fingers slightly spread. Now these various sets of open hands with the fingers spread can also be used for like wall crawling hands or to compress her hands to the surface, as you can see here. Which brings me to her final set of hands, which is a set that has two magnets smack dab in the middle of her palms. This is something that Mafex has been doing since their very first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man that they released. And speaking of magnets, it should be noted that there is a magnet in the back of the hood here that keeps the hood attached to the back of her head, but I don't think it works as well as I would really like it to. I wish the magnet was just a little stronger because it comes undone pretty often. If you listen. There it is. You can see the magnet back there and you can see the little peg hole where it attaches. But again, I wish the magnet was a little stronger. And in the past, I have had some magnets that have come undone on Mafex figures. Again, quality control is a big sticking point with me with Mafex figures. I posed the question early on in this review, what's wrong with Mafex? That's one of the things that's wrong with Mafex is QC. But the major thing I want to focus on, I'll get to shortly. Actually, you know what? I spoke too soon. I am taking out the second head out of the package, the additional head that she's packed in with here, and I realized that the magnet is actually attached to that little peg hole. So the magnet already came out on the head that was attached out of the package and it's stuck on the back of the hood here. That means I have to remove the magnet and glue it back to the back portion of her head before I can work with this additional head sculpt with the eyes sort of squinted here. Alright, so I was able to remove the magnet that's supposed to be attached to the back of her head, and I do realize that the magnets are pretty strong actually, but I'm gonna have to glue this one back on. The one in the back of the hood stayed intact. But yeah, this is the shit I be talking about. Alright, let's try the other head. Cool, it's in there. Alright, this one's really working. And of course, she can't have magnetized hands without the feet as well. And it should be noted that all of the hands were on this little clear sort of plastic stand, keeping the hands intact in the package. This is something new that they've been doing, but they've done it here with the feet as well. Feet slide off. You can see those pegs are very thin. You know, she's a very spindly figure, just like Miles Morales was. And there's that. Everything working in tandem. All of the magnets actually working. Because she is a very lightweight figure, there is no problem getting her on a magnetized surface. So this looks pretty good. I put a little piece of blue poster paper back there to make it look like the sky, but there, so you can see both hands. But yeah, I am a little weary of this. Again, I've had issues in the past. My regular 616 Venom, the magnet came out of that figure. I think one of the magnets on the hands, if I'm not mistaken. And as you saw in real time, I had a QC issue with this figure and the magnets. But moving on, she is also packed in with an additional head sculpt. There's two actually. You should put the cowl on first. So she does have the cowl, and I think this looks very good. I think it's a great head sculpt. And then she has this additional head sculpt where her teeth are showing just a tad bit. She's cracking a bit more of a smile than the previous head sculpt. Previous head sculpt was sort of like a grin. I guess you can consider this a smile. Very slight difference, but again, both head sculpts look great. And then her final pack-in or final accessory here is Spider-Ham, who, like her, has trouble standing. If you put his head up, which is on a little ball joint, he does have a little articulation, then it's going to be very difficult for you to get him to stand. So that's why I have his head kind of tilted down here. The arms do rotate, so you can move them to different positions on his hips here, but he actually does have some interchangeable arms and his little mallet accessory too. He's totally leaning on her knee there. But there he is with the arms detached. You can see a really tiny peg hole there. But he's packed in with these sort of elongated arms where he has his thwipping hands. Again, standing them up is an issue. These rotate, they don't bend at the elbow or anything like that. They are very thin, very delicate. I would be very careful. And he's also packed in with a left arm with his mallet attached. It's all one sculpt. Again, you can rotate the arm up and down. There's going to be trouble standing him up though. It could be this sort of like foam board surface though. Maybe if I get him on a nice flat hard surface, it'll be a little better, but it's not the best. Still, I'm happy that they packed him in and that he does actually have some articulation. So what's wrong with Mafex? Aside from the blaring QC issues that they continue to have, even though they continue to raise the prices, I think the major issue with some of their comic-based releases is that the breakout star characters are often the worst, then they get better as they go along. Case in point, Snuggy Batman. I really don't like that figure. A lot of people love that figure, but it seems like the other figures from the Hush line that they've been putting out or are going to put out seem to be a lot better in terms of overall quality, posability, the look, the paint than Batman. And Batman's the breakout star from the Hush series. Same thing with the first Mafex Spider-Man, which is a great figure. Don't get me wrong, it's probably one of the best Spider-Mans we've ever received in 6-inch form. We know this, but the recent Ben Reilly Spider-Man that they just put out is way better than the regular comic-based Peter Parker Spider-Man. The paint, the feel, the plastic, everything on that figure is better. Then that brings us to the Into the Spider-Verse line. Miles Morales, the star of the movie. That figure, the soft goods and everything on that figure is whack. Figure looks a lot better without the soft goods on. He looks good alongside Peter B. Parker. I'll get him lined up with Spider-Gwen and Peter B. Parker and Spider-Ham here shortly. But it was really Peter B. Parker that was the breakout star of that particular series from Mafex. Spider-Gwen here is pretty good. Great articulation. You've seen the issues that I've had with her. As far as the 616 sort of Spider-Man themed characters, I don't think they really got it right until Ben Reilly Spider-Man or Carnage. Venom wasn't that great in my opinion. I think the one character where they really knocked it out of the park straight out of the gate was the Dark Knight Returns Batman figure. So we'll see what happens with Batman and Robin. That's going to be releasing soon, and see how deep into that line they go. We'll see how Superman turns out. But same thing with the regular, I guess, sort of Jim Lee Superman. Definitely left a lot to be desired with that figure. Again, one of the best Supermans that we've ever received in 6-inch form, but no smiling head. The chest was awkward, QC issues, paint issues, what's going on? In terms of articulation here, head and neck move independently of each other. You can move the head, you can move the neck, it'll rotate. You can pivot the head on the neck here. You get a decent range of motion looking down and up. You may actually have to pop the head off and rotate that neck peg in order to really get the greatest range of motion, but it's good. Solid. Shoulders come up very far. There's a butterfly joint in there as well. You can do a full 360. There's an upper bicep swivel. There is a double jointed elbow. Swivels and hinges on the wrist. Upper torso articulation. Forward and back. No problem getting her into that sort of Spider-Man, Spider-Woman-esque crouching pose. No issues with that. Legs come up very far. Double jointed knees. Hinge, pivot, rotate on the foot as well as a toe joint. But a highly articulated, great figure, great fun factor. Again, one of my major issues though is that it's going to be hard to stand her with these really small feet. And what happened to her soft goods? They did soft goods on Miles, didn't turn out that great. The soft goods on Peter B. Parker were really good, and then they didn't give her anything at all. Would have been nice to get her in a sort of like street clothes look, especially since they gave us great unmasked head sculpts. But here is where we are so far in terms of completely costumed into the Spider-Verse characters from Mafex. We got 4 of the 6. They look good together. I want you guys to stay tuned for quite a bit of pictures on Instagram. I will explore how they look unmasked and this and that. I really just wanted to take a casual look at Spider-Gwen here. This probably went a little longer than I wanted it to, but I will have a follow-up with some more pictures, some more information, and again, follow me on Instagram. Regardless, I don't think this is one you should pass up on. I'm eager to see this team completed in figure form from Mafex, but they got to get it together. Miles here is definitely the weakest out of the bunch. And again, in terms of increase in price and the production value not really matching up with those increases in price, I don't think that's good. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell down there. And until next time, peace.
I'm in the game, I'm grinding, I got to play 24 hours in a day, 7 days out the week, I never sleep. I'm on my grizzly bear, 52 weeks out the year.